Well, hello my YouTube friend. Tonight it is my pleasure to make my first video thanks to my beautiful daughter with two hands actually. I've got on loan one of her device, the device that the kids use, like this kind of stick, that you put the iPhone on. So I'm not decided to invest on something really very fancy, but that stick is now stuck between my two legs and the table, and it allows me to make a video with my two hands, which is a premiere tonight for you guys. What is not a premiere actually is to make a video about a Rexford, and even more two Rexford. Actually, this one will be showcased tonight. This one will be the star of the evening for my first two-hand video, and that's gonna be the injection, mini injection. So the story behind this one is that when I saw it, immediately I fell in love with that knife. But this one was supposed to replace this one that I already presented you as probably my best EDC ever. And I even made a video, a kind of interesting video, saying why I would have to part with this knife. Basically, the reasoning behind that was that when I found this one, considering the totally crazy prices that Rexford has, I was not willing to have more than 3 Rexford actually. So when I saw this one, I thought that it would replace this one because I have already another epicenter, and I wanted to have one EDC Rexford, one dressed, and one flipper with the singularity. So, this one was coming in handy because this one gave me the possibility to have an EDC version and yet to have a Damascus blade that I didn't have, and also to have an injection that I didn't have because actually I have 2 epicenter and no injection. So I would have had the possibility to have an injection, EDC, dressed epicenter, and a flipper singularity. But when I received this one, I didn't know it was a mini actually, so it was almost a disappointment. So first of all, I said, oh man, it's not even the same size, so how can they compare, Then after that, when I had it in hand, the package is so different. So that's a mini, of course, but now look at the thickness that you have here. You see, this one, the little sucker here, is almost twice the thickness of this one. So both of them are absolutely incredible EDC. This one in his own way because it's slim, thin, but long at the same time. And this one because it's smaller, so perfect size for EDC, of course. But if you like, bigger knives, you will be happy. You know what? I thought about that. This knife would literally make everyone happy. And I'm not going to try to tell you why. First of all, if you like EDC, you're going to have an EDC for sure. If you like dressed knives, you're going to have a dressed knife with the Damascus. Of course, who can say that this knife is not dressed with this beautiful blade in Damascus? Then after that, if you like hefty and sturdy knives, you're going to have it because this small knife is yet very, very sturdy. Look at the thickness of those slabs of titanium. They are really, really thick and sturdy. So everyone will be happy with that. Dress with all the grooves, very nice finish, very nice EDC package, and yet, like I said, a very sturdy knife. So they had absolutely nothing to compare. Those two knives, literally nothing to compare. So I thought for I don't know, some minutes, because I would truly decided because of the money basically. I didn't want to invest that much on Rexfords, so I needed to return this one, but I couldn't because I love this one too much, and the other one gave me, oh man, there is absolutely nothing to compare between those two knives. So this one is gonna go off the screen now, and we're gonna discuss about this beautiful little knife that I just received. And let me tell you something. There is I say little, there is absolutely nothing little. I mean, it's a small size, yeah, because you're gonna have a blade that is gonna be a tad under, I would say, I think it's 2 3/4. As I say, I didn't even know it was a mini, but but I think that the mini is something like 2, for sure it's less than 3-inch blade. And overall, it has to be like something like less than 7-inch long overall length. So it's a small size, small knife, but let me tell you something. My hands, they are XL, you know, and check that. I mean, I have a perfect reach with my 4 fingers on that knife. And there is no craziness, you know, on the injection. What I like on this knife is that it's a perfect shape. You know, when we were kids, this is how I thought about when I thought about a knife. You see, a simple blade shape, nothing crazy, nothing like the epicenter. The epicenter is totally totally crazy, and I can understand that people may criticize that. You have bump here, you have a bump here, you have another bump here, a lot of curvature here on the handle, but yet it's a very ergonomic blade shape. Sorry, handle shape. This one, no craziness at all. A little curvature here, a little one, but it's, you know, straight line here, straight line here. Some, you know, craziness here, but nothing crazy. At the very, I mean, it can even be an impact point, but, you know, the shape is here very simple. And you have an overall curve here that is very nice. I love, you know, I told about that already. I love a knife when it's curved like that, you know, and here the overall knife is curved. Look at that. Then after that, as an EDC, man, how can it be more EDC than this one? Look at that. I mean, the edge starts I'm sorry about the bandage here. The edge starts very early here. There is no ricasso. Doesn't need any, oh yeah. It starts very early here, and you have all the length of the blade that is useful for your cutting task. So let me tell you this. I already tried this knife for the better part of those past days, and it's a perfect EDC. And there is no craziness. I mean, here you're gonna have a very thin, I mean, your 2 fingers are almost touching here on the edge, and even though it's a kind of thick blade, you know, even compared, look at that, even compared to the epicenter, it's really significant thickness. I would say it's something like 0.160 at the very least, 0.160, something like that. So it's thick, but here you have a very thin edge, and it cuts like you cannot even imagine. So that's a perfect slicer. It's a perfect, man, the point here, if you want to trust, that is just fantastic knife. So this package, as I said, would please anyone. Now, we discuss about the overall shape. I want to discuss about details on this knife, because this is something that I absolutely adore on that knife. And we're going to go from, you know, let's talk about the overall details that you have on this knife. And first of all, the colors. The colors that you have on this knife, there are 2 colors. Simple as that, no more than that. And they are perfectly well balanced. So you're going to have this deep gray that is, look at that. I mean, this the first time in my life that I see that, truly. I mean, it's truly amazing. The color that you're going to have on the handle is exactly the same as the Damascus. I mean, I can try to focus and show you that. I mean, if we had to compare with a scale or a benchmark, I don't know, that would be exactly, if we took a microscope, that would be exactly the same color. So on the Damascus, you're going to have this deep gray that is going to be the same as the handle and, of course, the clip. Then after that, you're going to have the lines here, the lines that are going to be, you know, like satin, white satin, you know, and they are going to be the same as the thumb stud, the pivot that is going to be satin, you know, the hardware, of course, and the backspacer. Titanium pivot here. And you see, so you're going to have a perfect balance between those 2 colors all over that knife. There is nothing that is not going to be this deep gray or this satin finish. And this is something that truly, I'm pretty sure that Todd thought about that. But if he didn't, that's one of the best. No, I'm pretty sure he thought about that. And it's such a beautiful outcome to have a knife like that, with a two-tone, I mean, I would say two-tone knife, overall two-tone knife. There is everything in this knife is just two color, and that's something that I absolutely adore. Now, all other details, the groove that you have here, that's why he went with a thick blade, probably because he wanted to go for a groove. If you want to go to a groove, you cannot use you cannot use a slab like that. Other than that, it's not going to be a groove. It's going to be a simple hole on the scale. So in order to have a groove and a deep, those are deep grooves, my friend. Look at that, and they are absolutely perfect. Let me tell you this: you don't see any gap. Everything is absolutely perfectly milled, so those are a deep groove, and the same on the other side, one groove here. Man, the finish is superb. The clip is not on standoff; it's kind of 3D clip, and the hardware is flush here as it is here on the pivot. Here it's chamfered, so it's not really flush as always. But I can tell you something: there is not going to be a single gap between the pivot and the scale, as always. The tolerance with Rexford knife, look at that. The tolerance, as you can expect, is just absolutely phenomenal. I like this touch also, of course, because we have Damascus, so the blade is sterile, and you got to have the maker name here on the blade. Perfect. Sorry, sometimes I'm speechless when I think about that, because when you look at it like that, you can tell that you could think that it's a simple knife, but when you check the details, everything is so perfect. Now check the engagement on this one. Let me tell you this. This is a rock solid knife. There is absolutely no blade play whatsoever, front to front, side to side. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Now check that. Boom, sucked inside. Almost perfectly centered, just a tiny bit on the right, but nothing crazy. Now check the action. Boom! That's just phenomenal action. On washers, as usual, and the action on this one is really splendid. You can use the index, you can use, the index as you see here, you can use thumb, you can deploy it delicately like that, you see, you can flick it, and it's smooth. I mean, it's not smooth like when you just, I hate that. I told about that already. I mean, I like when it's safer when the blade doesn't fall by its own weight. When we just accompany the blade, and then you have the blade that is sucked inside. So yeah, even if you want to play, like craziness, sorry, I don't have any, you see, I don't know why I do that. Truly, it's just to, when you play with a knife, you like to fondle a knife. It's a user. It's an object of desire, of art. I've always talked about those different points on a knife. To me, that's a tool first. Okay, a knife is a tool, but then after that, the tool, you can buy a Kershaw for $10, and that's you're gonna have the tool. Then after that, you're gonna have the artistry. Then after that, you're gonna have the mechanism. Then after that, you're gonna have also the way you can fondle your knife. So that's why I love about Rexford, and more these days I like better the dual thumb stud or thumb disc, because they provide you several way of opening, and that versatility you don't get with a flipper. So even though this is absolutely useless to open it like that, it's fun, and that's something that is really important when you play with a knife. So this knife has it all. To me, that's the perfect package, the perfect Rexford for me, even better than my beloved here Epicenter, because this, as I told you already, it has it all. Heft. I mean, we're heading to the 15 minutes, so I'm gonna leave it at that. This is a knife that could make everyone happy, and that is something that is truly amazing, that a maker on a simple knife like that can make something, again, that is so versatile and so pleasing to everyone. So again, I'm not sure that it's very difficult, and you know how hard they are to find. Even if you have the money to pay them, they are really hard to find. Truly, I hope that if you have the means to buy something like that, you would go for Rexford for sure, and have at least one Rexford in your collection. That's what I can hope for you guys in order to appreciate what a great maker can do with a knife. So with that being said, my friend, I'll leave it at that and catch you very soon for another video.